success that came with the events
Um,
and the response, the attendance, everything?
I think for me it has been mostly overwhelming. At the same time, it's been deeply humbling. I believe that to me, my life story is just my life story. I don't stand as a point of inspiration for people. I allow people to see what happens around me and decide what they make of it. But it has been very humbling for me. It's very humbling how people have felt, the kind of support I've gotten from different people. It's been overwhelming, humbling, and I'm more than entirely grateful.
And from the feedbacks you must have gotten, what does it look like?
Positive all around. People are happy. People are glad they were there to celebrate with us. I think the most important thing was, putting God first. Family as well was very important to me. My close friends who rallied around to support me, that was the most important thing to me as well. And of course, my wife being there for me, that was amazing too. So it's been overwhelmingly positive.
You've also been a sort of inspiration to so many people. I'm wondering how does that make you feel? Do you feel you've achieved enough or just still it's like work in progress?
I believe fundamentally I'm my own person, and I do not do what I do to seek to inspire. If inspiration comes as a byproduct of me living my life, I'm more than happy to, fill in that gap. But I've never looked at myself as an inspiration to anybody. I tried my best to live my life with the way I've been trained, the way I've been brought up by my parents. I do my best to make sure that I'm a good person fundamentally, that my conscience is always clean, and I do things to the best of my ability in everything I can possibly do.
Or what are the things that helped shape your worldview in terms of life?
My father is the number one thing. He's always been my moral compass. I look to him for um, whatever type of whatever I'm in a quagmire. I look to him to see what would he do. He's a beacon of integrity to me. He's a beacon of success, a beacon of pride. Someone I look to and I want to emulate in every way, shape, and form. So, I my life view or my world view is mostly surrounded by what I think my dad would do if he was in the situation. He's someone I admire so much. So basically, that's the center of it, to be honest.
And does that also explain why you took after him in so many respects?
You
When I
know,
saw the engineering, I thought, okay, maybe influence your going into engineering.
maybe somewhere in there was some inspiration from him. Fundamentally, I am somebody who is good with maths, good with physics. Combining maths and physics, the normal logical destination is always engineering, sometimes biochem, sometimes, but engineering seems to be the logical marriage of mathematics and physics. And another one of my passions personally is cars. I do love cars, engines to be precise. So I guess if you marry all of that together, engineering seems to be the obvious destination. Even though I don't actually practice engineering, I work in banking, I work in treasury. But that is my first love, I would say.
So what do you do fully? I mean, as
Uh,
in what the main line of
so my profession is
yes.
I work in treasury in investment bank in London. That's my profession.
How have you found that experience?
I learned a lot very quickly. Engineering wasn't, sorry, treasury or banking wasn't what I thought I was going to get into. I wanted to stay in engineering. I stumbled, if you will, into banking. But again, if you're good with numbers, if you're good with manipulating data, which is a natural talent for me, you can find yourself fitting into treasury or banking quite quickly. And I've just stayed there. The money is good.
Okay, and what has also that how has that also that how has it helped you?
um, One, to be fiscally responsible. Um, you see what an abundance of money in my field of work, what it can do to people when people are reckless with taking loans here and there. So it's taught me to be fiscally responsible. That's the first thing. Secondly, is made open my world to the possibilities out there. Because when you work in treasury, you have a toe in every industry out there. Everybody needs money for something else, and it's quite interesting to see what people need money for. So it has definitely opened my worldview to what the possibilities are out there look like, especially.
Tell us a bit about your mom, you and your mom.
My mom is my if daddy is my logical beacon, mom is my emotional beacon. So she's somebody that her heart is full of joy, full of warmth, full of peace. Um, you know, a lot of times I'll tell you that as a man, my decisions are based what will my dad do. But I will also tell you that a lot of my character comes from what I believe my mother would do because she's a pacifier by nature and she has a natural ability to bring people together effortlessly. And it's something that I admire greatly in her.
Tell us a bit about your wife. Um,
Mor-
how did it click?
Morenike is a story that it is difficult to say how it clicks because I met Morenike in passing in 1999. We attended the same primary school in CTC in GRA here. Um, it was just a passing meeting. We didn't interact so much. But in the last 2, 3 years or so, especially during COVID lockdown, we sort of reconnected. And to me, it was amazing to find somebody who thought the way I think, who is equally driven, who is passionate, who knows her stuff, um, and who is caring at the same time. She reminds me a lot about my mom. She also reminds me of my dad as well. She's a perfect balance of drive, discipline, emotional intelligence, and just an all-round beautiful person.
Tell us about your growing up years. Was it Nigeria or the UK?
So it was partial. I grew up in. I did my primary education in Nigeria, CTC. I started my secondary school in Atlantic Hall in Ekpe. Then I transitioned into London to finish my secondary education, which I finished in 2011. Then went on to university and my master's in London. Thank you. So let me just do my notes. Just give me a second. I'm struggling with a cold.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
To come to terms with the kind of life, or let me put it this way, what life give to you in terms of,
My disability.
yes,
I often say that this is the life I've known. I've not known too much difference. This actually happened to me when I was 5 years old. So it's basically been the only life I can tell you I've lived. Um, I am not oblivious to the fact that I do things differently, but I've always told myself that being disabled does not make you redundant. It simply means that you must be able to live your truth differently. You must be able to accept who you are and accept your limitations while at the same time pushing through your strengths. I may not be able to run around and play football, but by God, I'll be one of the smartest people that you meet. And it's what I've always said, it's what I've always done, it's what I've always tried to achieve. I've always said that if my legs will not take me places, my hands will take me places. If my hands won't take me places, then my brain will take me places.
I read an article about you in the Guardian several years back, and was what struck me immediately was how deep you are in terms of thoughts and all of that. And I'm wondering, how did you develop that deep thinking?
I think, and this is actually an attribute related to my disability. When you sit or stand amongst a group of men, you find that because of my lower vantage point that I'm always sitting, you find that except I project my voice, people don't necessarily listen to me. So the byproduct of that was that I listened more than I spoke. I listened to what people thought and I formed my opinions without necessarily speaking them out. Then what you get with people who listen is that they tend to have a very, very diverse range of thoughts that go through their head without anybody really knowing what they think. I think that air of mystery also combined with the fact that I had time to process things deeply before I had to ever speak means that it gives me the luxury to be able to speak my truth with a lot of great thoughts put into it. Um, I try not to speak until I have to speak. I always believe that the loudest can is normally the emptiest one. And I believe that people who have things to say don't always jump to speak. They have to listen first. I've always said that you cannot lead except you follow. you cannot speak except you listen. So I tend to listen first. I'll rather listen, 10 times before I speak once. They say God give you two ears and one mouth. So that's how I live my life.
Talking about your wife, do you also engage in intellectual
She's an
discussion?
intellectual. That's one of the things I love about her. She's an intellectual. There's something I would always say. The first way to get my attention, wherever you are in this life, is to be intelligent. If you're intelligent and I can talk to you and expand my worldview by speaking to you, whether in the right way or the wrong way, as long as my worldview is being expanded, I want to listen to more to what you have to say. I don't enjoy sitting in a room where 10 people are talking about things I already know. It's boring to me. I already know. You know that I know. We all know what we know. It is one of the reasons why sometimes I struggle sitting down in a room discussing Nigerian politics because we all know the problems, and if you're not coming to me about how we can solve it, I don't want to hear it. It's as simple as that. We all know where we have challenges. We all know what the problems are in the country. We all know what problems we have in our own lives as individuals. And if all you can do is complain without providing solution, I don't have time to hear it. And I think that's one of the things that I admire most about Morenike. When she's talking about problems or she's talking about issues, she's talking in a way of how to move forward. There's never a conversation of how to stay in regression or how to progress, which is something I really admire.
What does she do?
She's a lawyer. So she's a lawyer by profession. She's trying to switch into finance. So she's doing a transition MSc course right now
Mm.
in London to try and switch into finance. But a lawyer who has worked in some very decent companies, ARM, Nativa, to name a few.
Each time you sit with that, what do you discuss? Do you discuss more of politics or something else?
Everything. There's nothing we don't discuss. The last conversation we discussed, this is 3 or 4 days ago, intently, we were talking about the energy situation. And, with a bit of my engineering background, I pushed that why don't we think about investing in solar energy and what we can do within that space. I believe that is a market that we have the abundance of supply, we're wasting the sun. Um, and diesel prices are going one way, they're going up. Energy prices are going up. If you can find a way to harness free energy to turn into profits or turn into a way where you can provide static or stable electricity, why not take it? And it's something that I discussed with him, the idea of creating a solar farm or how that would work in principle. And it's something that was very interesting to him. So we can talk about that and go all the way to talk about politics, to talk all the way about United States British politics. I'm a huge fan of British politics, not because I have any ambition there. I just love the intricacies of it. I like the debates. I like the drama that comes with it. I'm watching all these politicians resign left, right, and center recently, and it's quite interesting to me.
Do you still work in any way with Lauren?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
So the London office, the office they have in London, I primarily run that.
I saw that in your profile
Yes, that's
online.
correct. So yes, I run the London office. The business doesn't move as fast as here, but once it's needed, I'm in charge there.
Apart from all of this, what else do you do to while over time?
Um,
To
I'm a
make
big
more money?
reader. I like to read.
Okay.
I do really like to read. Again, I've said my passion is cars.
Okay.
So me and my youngest brother Maiwa is one of our hobbies to tinker with car engines. We've always done so. Customizing, tinkering is just a hobby that we have. Um, one of these days we'll show off a little bit of our projects here and there, but it's something that we do enjoy doing.
What kind of books do you read?
Um, to start off with, years ago it used to be fiction, but these days I'm quite interested in autobiographies. I'm actually reading Shibumi Balogun's book right now. I just started it this afternoon, so that is my present.
Okay, so you do autobiographies and biographies.
So I used to do a lot of fiction, but now autobiographies, specifically not biographies, because I want to hear from the horse's mouth. I want to see what they thought their life experiences were.
And you're going back very soon.
Yes, I am. A few days from now.
Okay. So how do you see Nigeria?
How do I see
In
Nigeria?
Nigeria, yeah.
Nigeria is a country that has a lot of potential, and every time I come here, I say the potentials are just endless. Um, it needs the right generation to tap into it, and needs the right type of people to believe in it. And I believe that they are coming. And I believe in Nigeria. People around me believe in Nigeria, and I'm confident that as a country, you know, the solutions may not be easy to unwind and to unthread, but the solutions exist.
In your profile, I know you run one or two NGOs.
Yes.
You still work.
So partially, I stepped down as founder, I remain as founder, but I stepped down as active director in African Youth Initiative. I've left that to the next generation to continue to run. So it exists. I always serve as an advisory body at the moment. The foundation also exists as well, helping disability people, people living with disabilities. Again, step down as director, but helping in an advisory role.
So, what would be your message to those who are inspired by how you feel like?
Um, Honest truth, as you said, sir, I'm living my life, and it is wonderful to be able to take a moment to stop, look around, and admire and be inspired by other people. But never forget that you have your own life to live. Um, be inspired, be motivated. Look up. I also take time to stop around, look around. I have some people that are role models to me that I stop, see what they're doing, and I say, okay, there's still road in front. Let's keep going. And I just say that to people as well. They just remember that you can stop, look around, not be happy where you are right now. And once you're inspired, remember that there's still road in front and keep going.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.